For the function h whose graph is given, state the value of each quantity if it exists. If it does not exist, then explain why. For part A, we want to find the limit of the function h of x as x is approaching -3 from the left. So as it is approaching -3 from the left, we can see that the function is at +4. Okay, next, we want to find the limit of the function h of x as x is approaching -3 from the right. So as is approaching -3 from the right, we can see that it's going through this scenario. Okay, jumps here, gets here, and now it's going to end up at, when the x is -3, we get an output of 4. Okay, so this first graph represents A and B, and then we can include C in this scenario, because what do we know? We know that if the limit is approaching, of that function h of x is approaching -3, and we can see that it approaches 4 from the left and then 4 from the right, so we know that the answer is going to be 4. Okay, next what we're going to do is we want to find part D, which is h of -3. So h of -3, what is the output? Well, here is -3, and we can see that it has an open circle, which means it's undefined. So therefore, since it's undefined, this does not exist. So this does not exist. Okay, in part E, we want to find the limit of the function h of x as x is approaching 0 from the left. So as x is going to 0 from the left, well, the function goes from here and then here, and it ends up at 1. So we know that this equals 1. Now in part F, we want to find out what is the limit of the function as x is approaching 0 from the right. So as it is approaching 0 from the right, we can see that the function goes in this direction, and then it ends up at -1. So therefore, this is equal to -1. So what does that tell us in part G? Well, it says, what is the limit of the function h of x as x approaches 0? Well, we can see that from E and F, they're not equal, so therefore this does not exist. Okay, now in part H, we want to find h of 0. So that means when the input is 0. Well, down here, it's an open circle, so therefore that is undefined, but it's a closed circle here at 1. So the output here is 1, so therefore h of 0 is going to equal 1. Okay, now for I, we want to find the limit of the function h of x as x is approaching 2. So that means there's 3 parts to this. We first need to find the limit as x is approaching 2 from the left of the function. So let's go ahead and do that. So as we are approaching 2 from the left, so the function goes up here, goes down here, and it stops up here, and then as it stops here at 2. Okay, now we need to find the limit as x is approaching 2 from the right. So as it is approaching 2 from the right, we can see that the function is going through this direction, and then it ends up at 2. So we know that that answer is 2. So therefore, if it's approaching 2 from the left at 2, it's approaching 2 from the right at 2, then therefore we can say that the limit of the function as x approaches 2 is equal to 2. Okay, let's find now h of 2. So we want to find h of 2. So that means when the input is 2, what is the output? Well, it is undefined, so therefore this does not exist. Let's take a look at k. We want to find the limit of the function h of x as x is approaching 5 from the right. So as it is approaching 5 from the right. So as it is approaching 5 from the right, then it hits what value? 3. So the answer is 3. Let's take a look at L. We want to find a limit of the function h of x as x is approaching 5 from the left. So as is approaching 5 from the left. So here we have our function, and then it goes here, does a step here, and then here, and then here what happens is we start getting sort of this function here, but it never stops at anything at 5. So in this scenario, okay, from the left, it does not exist because it doesn't hit one single value. So therefore, this does not exist.